Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to create our first PHP MVC framework. Now first we need to create a directory, and this will serve as the container of our scripts. Well, let's say for example we name this one as MVC framework. Then we need to cut this one and paste in htdoc directory. Since I have so many projects, so I created an subdirectory which is portal. Then I will paste this here. So as what we can see, the MVC framework that we created earlier is empty for now. So we'll start. We'll open a new. So this is the directory that we created earlier. As what we can see here in Sublime, it is empty. So guys, the advantage of Sublime is we can see the directory here in the left corner of the screen. So first we create a new file. We'll check if we'll create an index first, and we'll check if our Apache is running properly. So we'll save this one as index.php and try to display some text. Then we need to start our Apache. So we'll run this one on Firefox. So as what we can see, so everything is okay. The reason why we created this configuration is we want to rewrite our engine. We want to own our engine. Then after we own our engine, we rewrite our base in our request. Then after we create a condition, we rewrite our rule, and we accept all the characters in our keyboard from 0 to 9, from uppercase A to Z and the lowercase a to Z, and also other characters from the keyboard. And in our index.php, since we write our base, we own our engine, we do not include the file name here. In our write condition, we disable the file name, so we do not include anymore the file name, our in our PHP. Instead, we store the string that appended in our URL in this variable URL. Then this variable is not case sensitive, and we query all the string appended in the URL, and also the length, and will be stored in this variable. So later we'll get this we'll get the string or the data in this URL in our index.php. Okay, so in our index.php, here we'll get the data in the variable. We'll see, for example, we'll create a URL container here and CSF, and we'll use the get method. Then the URL is one, the container here. So this is the container here, and just in case if there is no value inside the URL, we define constant value here. So you can name anything you want. In my case, I prefer to use home, but you can name anything you want. So we'll try to display this one. So as what we can see, there is no string appended after the framework, MVC framework directory. So if we add another string, we'll say home or office, then display, then it will display the office display here. So all the strings that are appended after the directory file name here will display here. Okay, so now we'll create a routing, but first we create a class here. We'll say index. So we follow the standard class naming convention. When creating a class, the first letter would be capitalized here, and we'll create also the default constructor in PHP. So construct method, yeah. Then we pass this URL container here, and here we create new object of index. Then we'll pass URL. Then here we receive URL here, and we'll see we create new we'll try to echo if everything is correct. So see URL, and we'll try to display this one. Okay, so that's what we can see. Everything is good. So now we create an routing. Create a new class route. Here in our MVC framework, create new directory, and we'll name this as live. And inside the live directory, we'll create route.php, and in route.php we create a class route here, and in our class route we create constant or default, how you call this one, default constructor in PHP construct. Then we pass the URL, and then in our index we'll say, for example, create a new object of route, and then we'll pass URL. Then we include route here. Then in our route we receive the URL that we passed. Then we use rtrain method and we specify the character that I'm going to remove. So just for example, if we have a data, see URL, then the data in it is, see, home, then save. Then after we trim this data, the right of character, or the since we have set the character that we're going to remove, so the right side of the character will be removed, so the output would be this one. So there is no, this will be removed, so there is no right forward slash anymore. And the next method we use is the explode method, and through this character, this is our delimiter, this method will return an array of string based on this delimiter. So in this example, we say there is an array, the index 0 equals to home, then index 1 equals to save. So in this way we can determine what particular controller we're going to run, and also what particular method we're going to execute. And the third one is the data container, or the container of the data that we're going to process. So we can create an array through explode method. So this is the data. Now we'll see, for example, we have the controller here. Create a new directory, MVC. Then inside the MVC directory we have controller, we also have view and model. In our controller we have home controller, home controller.php. Then create a new class here. So we created a class here, and okay, so home, then we concatenate word controller. Then we created also the default constructor of class construct method, and we display echo you are in the home controller default constructor. So in our route, since we do not know exactly what particular controller we're going to run, so here we will concatenate the home controller, say controller equals URL 0 concatenate controller here, and yeah, then we require the controller file. So inside the MVC controller, then we concatenate controller, then the last part is save .php. Then we instantiate, or we create a new class or a new object for the controller. So we say controller new controller. So we're going to run this one. We'll see home. So you are in the home controller default constructor. So what if you have so many controller? So what you're going to do is you copy this one and you create new file, then say office controller, .php, then copy paste this one, then you only change the home to office, then yeah, say this one office controller default constructor. And if we're going to change home into office, then there you are in the office controller default constructor. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we create another file, create a view. View.php. Okay, so we create a class view here and a render method, which we will call later. Then the require ones will require all file here, MVC, from MVC, then view this view directory, then the file name of the PHP. Like just for example, we have new file, say home.php, then in our home.php we have HTML here, then our body. In our body we have a content, here are the page, and center this one. Okay, so let's try to display this one. Then created a view here. Next we create a new live, which will be called as controller. Controller.php. and in our controller so we have a controller here and have a render our method rather variable, then default constructor, then we create new object of view. Then in our view we'll since this one has view, so in our controller here, in our home controller, we'll extend the controller there. Extends controller. So this one, controller. Then in our default constructor, we'll say here private controller this controller was no controller here we'll this okay, this one, and we can say go on this controller render will access this one, the render here, then render view here, this one view, then we'll pass the file name of our PHP, see home there in our view. So okay, so we'll try this one. So we have the controller, the library controller, then view, the route, the view. We include this one here, so we'll say include once live controller .php include once view .php. Okay, so we'll try to run this one, see how missing argument 1 view call portal. I'm sorry, I forgot to okay, so we can solve this problem because by putting or by changing this the name of this one, the method, we say views here and see views, we can change this one and live view not found. So I forgot to save the controller, that's why we get this error. So we save this one and yeah, it works. Then we can also solve this problem by just we say we do not add new s from that. We can also solve this problem by putting a namespace here. Say live, then we will group this one. The purpose of namespace is we create an virtual directory there, and we will put this class in this virtual directory live. Then if we're going to use that one, we import that here. We say use live, then view, then everything, then it will work also. Okay, so we displayed here the home. We are in home page, and if we're going to create another controller or another display, and say in office, we'll say office, office page, save office dot php. Then in our office controller, you can say here extends controller, then see here we can copy paste the code, our code here, and yeah, you can create private controller. Then we'll change this one to office, then we say office. You are in the office page, so we can add hyperlink here. Say go to, we are in home, go to office here, we'll try to add hyperlink. Okay, let's ref equals office. Okay, then in the office we'll see home, go to home, yeah, so we'll try to click this one. Oh, we are not redirecting the home. Let's see, we'll add forward slash here, and oh sorry, forgot to provide the exact location. We'll see MVC portal, MVC framework, copy, paste, portal MVC framework, then office, there. So you are in the home page. We'll put this one here. So go to home, here go to office. So you see, go to home, so we are in the office page. Go to home, then we are in the home page, so we'll go to office. Okay, as what you can see, our directory or our URL here, it changes home to office, then go to home. So we can manually type office, then click enter, then we are redirected to the office page. Okay, so next thing is we create a new model here. We'll create a model. Okay, so create a library, new, then save this one as model .php, then create PHP file. So we create a model class here, and in our model we create a model method, and we pass the file name here, and we include, or we require it once here, the MVC model. So far we don't have model yet, then so we'll try to create new one later. We require some, so like just for example, we have a model here. Save this one as home model.php. So in our model here, we pass home here, then we concatenate model.php. So we require model.php, and here we create a class model there. So we'll say, for example, we have a PHP plus home model, then we create a new object here, and we return this model here. So in our controller, so first we will namespace this one as live. So in our controller we use live, then model here, and we'll create protected, then we can say run, and here let's say this run equals new model. Okay, so we'll try to use this one. So let's say, for example, in our home model we have a query method. So function query, and here we have an array of data. So we have variable data which contains this one, name, address, and degree. So Juan de la Cruz, name with value of Juan de la Cruz, address C, Ontario, Canada, and degree we have Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, and we return the data here, and we cast the data into object. So basically we return an object here in our query method. So in our controller we can say home controller. You can see in our home controller this before the view. So this controller, then in our controller we'll access this run, this one, the run, the instance of model. So run, then after we access the instance we'll run the method model, run model, then the method model will pass the file name. We say the home, then we concatenate here, say home model here. Then since we return data there in our home, after we get the object here, this is the new object of the model, we can see here in this case, in this state, we instantiate the object here model, so we can call the method here query. See query, then we'll return the query, the home model will return the object here, the data here, and we can say data we'll receive the data here. So data equals this controller run model home, then query, and then the data that we receive here will pass in the view. So we'll say data, and in our view we'll edit this one, data, and the data here in our view home model can display. We pass the data here, and yeah, we can display the data here, data. So we can call the data that we passed in the controller to the view, this one, pass in the view, and then the view, this one, we can get and access the data here and object way. So we can say data, then the member access operator, then the name here in our model, this one, name, address, and degree here in our view. So we'll try to display this one. Oh, sorry, so class live model not found. I think we missed something here. We see include once live model.php. Okay, so yeah, and thank you for watching. You can now create your own MVC framework through this tutorial.